Shalom, shalom, shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakagadash, and double honor to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone of whom I learned from, and the shalom to the hopefully elect 144,000, taking this, the chosen, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai. This is a brother Radah with just another report of prophecy being fulfilled. Esau not being able to hide himself, the Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai lifting up his skirt, showing his transgressions or his sins to the world, and not trusting your enemy. I'm going to let this first guy speak what he's saying. These are their tongues falling upon themselves, right? Exposing Esau as being the man of sin is being revealed, and then we're going to just use a really quick few videos on what's going on with this Korean thing, Hyundai plant here in Georgia, with the ICE raids and the types of people they arrested, the legality of everything, and the what's the word, the criminality or the wickedness of Esau breaking his words. He never keeps his treaties, but also ultimately this is of Yahweh, because if you look at this story at all angles, I'm not an expert when it comes to business. I'm not going to even go there. I don't have no education, but looking at it, it's like, why would somebody do this? Because this is public relations, PR. Everything's about business, right? And money, and you don't screw over your business partners regardless. Well, why would ICE, why would Esau, why would Trump, why would so-called white America that's for this, why would they think that this was a wise decision when it comes to arresting the Koreans who were actually here legally? And this is, I got a couple of videos we're going to show. It's going to be very quick, but let this guy first speak. I want to get him in the beginning of this, and then we know that this is going into what Esau has done with Jacob, the northern and southern kingdom, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, but this is also how he treats the heathen. He's also wicked to the other heathen. His focus is always Jacob, but he mistreats the planet Earth. So I'm going to let this guy speak, and I'm going to play some videos, get a few precepts, and we'll be out of here.
So, sorry, black creators, how would we know? How would we know that if a racist white person comments the N-word on your post, you guys get removed for hate speech? And that's how we're digitally erasing you guys in the modern era. It's never been easier. How would I know? The only reason I would know is because 100 white people called me an N-word lover yesterday, and I had to sit there and manually delete it. I don't want to get my account removed. That's what my account got taken down for 2 days ago. And it just reaffirms why I'm so terrified to talk to white people. I always have been. First thing you learn as a white person in America is we can burn down the world to be right about it. We did. Also, we can get rid of any person who remembers our history. We did. Also, we can get rid of any book that talks about it. We did. Last year, we got rid of 10,000 books, right? Either way, it's important to remember that our power is built on an illusion, right? It's based off of torture techniques like the slave trade or Indian removal. Andrew Jackson called it Indian removal, the Trail of Tears, we can say. And now we do for-profit prisons and immigrations and customs. But power now comes directly from the erasure and our performance of victimization after we created the...
Let's get two precepts and one law. Let's get really quick, let's get Job 9:24, right? And we're going to get Maccabees 2. Job 9:24, what does it say? Look, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. And we know that Malachi 1 through Malachi chapter 1, verses 3 through 4, identifies Edom as the border of wickedness. So when you connect these two precepts, we understand that the Edomites are the wicked and that they are in rulership right now. And when you go to Daniel chapter 2, it explains the 4 beast systems that would be in rulership. And the last beast system is the Roman Empire, the 7-headed red dragon with 10 horns. And America is the revised Roman Empire. And who established America? So-called white man. And where did they come from? They came from Britain. Those are one of the heads. So it's white people, you guys. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges thereof, if not where and who is he, right? It goes into the erasure that this guy was talking about of history, or the manipulation of history, or what they call whitewashing. Let's get one more. They sought to paint the images. They opened up the books. They opened up the books of the law and sought to paint their own images. This is this should be nope. Hold on. First Maccabees. Now we should. There we go. All right, let's go back one. First Maccabees 3, 4, 7, and then again, Christians will say that the Apocrypha is not the scriptures. That's because everything that Renaissance Western Christianity is a lie, because it covers Esau. It hides who Esau is. That's why the prophecy says Esau shall no longer be able to hide himself. Renaissance Western Christianity never mentions who Esau is. First Maccabees 3, 4 through 7. 47, sorry. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes and laid open the books of the law. So these are the Israelites, right? But it's recorded wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. They were already trying to steal our identity. Everybody on the planet Earth was trying to do away with us and then become us at the same time, so that they could use our identity to move throughout the earth in stealth and take advantage of the rest of the people of the earth, not ever wanting to honor Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, or the law. They wanted to use what you see Amalek doing today. All right, so let's go back to this guy. Wait, hold on. One more. Esau shall no longer be able, and that's what's happening now. Esau shall no longer be able to hide himself, because he's being revealed. The man of sin is being revealed, you guys. You got to see the so-called white man for what he is. Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. And there is nobody on the earth that is causing more dust and smoke and trauma and war with every single person on the earth on a global scale other than the so-called fucking white man. And especially right now. And this is all being done so you guys can see. So you got to understand, Trump is not by himself. He's got an entire banking family system behind him. There's a whole bunch of Edomites that are not on TV that are behind him. And they're doing what they're doing because they fucking can. You gotta understand this. It's not just they're doing it. They're flexing because they can.
This is why I consider most white people to be a little bit sociopaths, right? We've been performing this for so long that it's our greatest survival instinct, and it's born out of the.
And usually, when you see people like this guy right here, there's a very strong, huge possibility he is a Jake himself. This dude could be an Israelite. This is why he's so passionate, and he is able to see what his so-called people are doing. These types of people only they fall under two categories, you guys, because a real normal Edomite, they cannot break themselves down like this. They just won't do it. They're on the side of wickedness. So two things happens when you see a guy that looks like this. He looks like an Edomite, right? But he might not be, or he might be the tongue falling upon himself, and you have to go into Scripture and you find it. The tongues falling upon themselves is here, so that their own tongues shall fall upon themselves. It's the Psalms. It's a prophecy. You remember, everything on the planet Earth is governed by prophecy. The Earth is one huge movie, and the Bible is the script. This is why Hollywood talks about, if we read the script, it's a left-handed version of Scripture. The Bible orders the movements of mankind on the earth. Prophecy are all governed. You're not going to do anything outside of prophecy. Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them flee away. He's either doing this or he's the speckled bird. What does that mean? Because we were my heritage. My heritage is the speckled bird. Because the dark melanated men of Israel, northern and southern kingdom, were scattered all over the earth. They slept with heathen women. They had sons who came out lighter, who are still Israelites, because the seed determines the nation, right? You determine the house you determine your pedigree by the house of your fathers. And when those sons slept with other heathen nations, those sons came out lighter and lighter to where you get what you see here. But he's still an Israelite. So that's also, this is the other answer. So Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird, multiple colors. The birds round me are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field. Come and devour. And also, look at this. Ephraim is a cake half turned. Ephraim is a cake half turned. Look. Hosea 7:8. Why is Ephraim a cake half turned? Because he was scattered. We went all over the earth, you guys, mixing with the heathen nations. And there's no such thing as being two nations in one body. The minute that man lays down with any nation, the offspring that comes forth through that woman, that other nation woman, those are the offspring of the nation that man represents. If an Edomite man lays down with the so-called Judite woman, a so-called black woman, those are Edomite children, you guys, because the seed determines the nation. So Hosea 7:8, Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. What is a pancake when you put it on the oven? When you lay it down in the pan, the one side's dark brown, and what is the other side? It's white. You see this big time with the Cubans. They're very light-skinned people. So this dude, with how passionate he is, he could be right here. He could just be an Israelite that's half turned, that looks like he's white, because he's so descriptive on the crimes of what his people have done, or his tongue is falling upon himself, like it says in Psalms. It's one of those two things. This is not a good Edomite. There's no such thing. He's either an Israelite that looks like an Edomite, or he's an Edomite that's under the influence of the scriptures and prophecy where his tongue is falling upon himself. But just because you see an Edomite doing this doesn't mean that they're good either. You got to understand you have to understand prophecy.
Horrors and atrocities. It's like how we prevent reparation. Manufacture consent with propaganda. We say woke police. We say war on Christmas. We say Trump derangement syndrome, right? Like the New Age drapetomania. And even the Israeli occupational force, right? We say defense force now. In the future, that's an occupational force. In the future, the war on Christmas is still just corporate Christian colonialism. And we only have one word for the victimization we cause, and it starts with Geno and it ends in side, because it's the only way to prove that we're chosen. Lastly, I think I can say the natural tendency of Western colonial settler states to create ethno-states and militarize their youth is the inevitable.
He's talking about manifest destiny, which is what they use to justify them taking over the earth. But the prophecies told you they would be in rulership. Job 9:24 tells you the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. And then the minute you continue on with prophecy, what ends up happening to the wicked that's in control? We're going to get those precepts. We're going to get a couple of them. I think I want to pull 2 Ezra 11 and then 2 Ezra 13. That's the war in heaven, which is Yahweh Shaphat, the day of the Lord. That's how Esau gets his end. Okay, so yes, manifest destiny is their left-handed half-truth of what it says in Scripture, but the Scriptures and prophecy says they get to the top of the earth and then they get completely destroyed. That's Obadiah. Obadiah 1:18 tells you how they end. Lamentations 4:21 and 22 tells you how they end. Isaiah 63 1-4 tells you how these fools end. You got to remember, do not trust your enemy. Anytime Esau opens his mouth, he's lying. He never tells you the full truth.
Path any nation state would take if it persecuted their own citizens. Have a good day. Sorry, black creators. How would we know? How would we know that if a racist white person comments the M-word on your post, you guys get removed for hate speech? And that's how we're digitally erasing you guys in the modern era. It's never been easier. How would I know? The only reason I would know is because 100 white people called me an N-word lover yesterday, and I had to sit there and manually delete it. I don't want to get my account removed. That's what my account got taken down for 2 days ago. And it just reaffirms why I'm so terrified to talk to white people.
This dude's a Jake, bro. I think he's a Jake. He's an Israelite, bro. He's too comedic. He's like, fuck these motherfuckers. He has to be an Israelite, bro. I could be wrong, but he's got to be an Israelite.
Have been. First thing you learn as a white person in America is we can burn down the world to be right about it. We did. Also, we can get rid of any person who remembers our history. We did.
And that goes into what we just said with Job 9:24 and Maccabees. So now, I wanted to let that replay. Now look at some of these. Now we're gonna shift. That was this was for the foundation, right? Now look at this.
So South Korea's government came out and said they are going to defend and have the backs of the workers that were arrested in Georgia. I would like to shed some light on this because I worked in a facility very similar to that for about 7 years. Specifically, I want to talk about this video first. You see all the guys in the white helmets and the uniform jumpsuits? Those are South Korean engineers. The facility I worked at was Japanese owned and they did the same exact thing. Okay, it's a South Korean facility. So it makes a lot of sense for them to have South Korean engineers over here building it.
It's the same thing when America goes into another nation, kills off the leader, sets up a puppet fucking goddamn government so that an Edomite white company can go in there and siphon out all the fucking resources. Except for when these companies are in America, they're here legally, they're not fucking up the economy, they're not siphoning out nothing, they're adding to America. You guys got to understand this shit. So the so-called white man, Salakia, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, they are extremely skillful when it comes to business practices. So you have to understand with the knowledge that they have when it comes to PR, public relations, when it comes to trade, when it comes to allies, when it comes to business partners, you got to ask yourself, why are they doing this? Because this is a very foolish move, even to us who are not even educated. You got to understand there's something else going on here, man.
Furthermore, I guarantee this is what happened because in that video, you can see them clearly giving ICE agents paperwork. If they were illegal, they wouldn't have fucking paperwork. But here's what it is. It's called a non-migrant visa. Believe it or not, foreign workers under certain agreements can work in the United States temporarily. It's usually for like a 4 to 6 week period of time. Then you got to go back home for like 4 to 6 weeks as well. But then you can come back and do it again under specific circumstances. This is exactly what the Japanese did when they built the facility I worked at. It was built by Japanese engineers, but American workers ran the facility. And here's a fun fact for you. Almost 7% of manufacturing facilities in the United States are owned by foreign companies. Do you want to know why they put their facilities in the United States? Because on average, we actually work for less. So that means they would have to pay their people in their country more. So why would they have illegal migrants working here? Just put them to work where they're already there. Makes no sense. But before I go, there's been now articles coming out where there were supposed to be upwards to 8,000 American jobs that were going to be available at that plant when it was done being built. Yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. Okay, bye.
So that directly affects the economy of so-called Americans. Now you got to ask yourself, you don't think Trump, you don't think the banking families, you don't think all the higher up level Edomites that are behind Trump understand this? They completely understand this. What's going on? Look at this. Yahweh Bahashem. For one, the wicked, I believe, let me see, the wicked is his sword. The wicked is thy sword, is thy sword, is thy sword, or deliver me from the wicked, which is thy sword. Okay, arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my sword from the wicked, which is thy sword. And we again, look, so for those of you who don't, we're going to come back to this, Malachi. The border of wickedness. The border. You need to understand, you have to let Scripture identify people in the earth. Malachi 1 through 4. Whereas Edom, there goes Esau mentioned, right? This is the fraternal brother, twin brother of Jacob, and Esau becomes Edom like Jacob becomes Israel. These are two nations of people. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. The Most High is pissed off at this race of people forever. Christianity overlooks all of this because Christianity was designed to hide all of this prophecy. And the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So if you claim to be teaching the gospel of so-called Jesus Christ, which that's not his name is Yahweh Shai, you are, according to Revelations, the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. You're supposed to know prophecy the way you claim to know the Son of God. And Christianity does not know prophecy. Why? because they don't know him. All they say is the J word. So we're going to go back. We're going to go back again, Psalms. So now we see in Malachi that the border of wickedness is Edom. And then we see, arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked. Deliver my soul from the Edomites, which is thy sword. So we see that Esau is the sword of Yahweh on the left-hand side. He's a weapon. And he has been given the power of the weapons. And look how he moves in the earth. Oh, man, I just brain farted the precept I was going to show you guys. Man, that hardly ever happens. Damn it. There was another precept I wanted to give you. Salakia.
South Korea's government.
Oh, here it is. There it is. The water, Yahweh, B'Shem Yosef, the water. Man, the stay of bread, the stay of, I will remove the stay of bread, the trust, the comfort, the stay of bread and water. Watch, look at this. This is what's coming to the earth, okay? Look at this. There's other ones, but this one, and this was what he did to us when he was bringing us down. So look, Isaiah 3:1. For behold, the Lord, the Yahweh of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah. This is the northern and southern kingdoms. What he did to us, but this same prophetic pattern happens to every nation when he is bringing them down and about to raise up another one. And this is how he does it. Look, for behold, the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, does take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. You need sustenance for your human body to function. If you don't have fuel, you cannot go to war. If you do not have fuel in your body, if you do not have water in your body, you cannot fight against your enemies. It's super basic. If you ain't got no oil and you ain't got no fucking gas in your car, that motherfucker ain't moving nowhere, no matter how much you sit in the passenger side seat and turn the fucking engine. It's not going to move. And the whole point for a vehicle is to move. But it needs oil and it needs gas. This is what you're seeing. Okay, so look at the strategies here. There's multiple things taking place. The Most High is using his sword, who is Esau. He's making Esau bare. He's revealing to the world who Esau is, because he's not the so-called white man. I have made Esau bare. I have made Esau bare. He's showing him, I have made Esau bare. He shall no longer be able to hide himself, okay? Jeremiah 49:10, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So multiple things are happening. The Most High is using his sword to take away the stay of bread and water, and he's revealing who Esau is, all in one swipe. But people are still not getting it because they're so focused on only America. The Most High is destroying America, and he's using Esau to do it. And Esau thinks he's destroying America because Esau, his thoughts are controlled, just like our thoughts are controlled. He declares, look at this, he declareth unto man what is his thought. What is his thought? Look, once you see all this, Amos 4:13, for lo, he that formeth the mountains. What are the mountains, you guys? It's not talking about hills that you walk up. It's talking about governments. It's talking about governments and what's involved with governments and rulership. Thoughts, doctrines, views and visions, plans for rulership and conquering, right? Okay, for lo, he that formeth the mountains and createth the wind. What's the wind? It's the spirit. And declareth unto man what is his thought. Every single thought. My thoughts right now are not my own. You guys, you are not in control of your thoughts. Every time you go to bed, you get a download of thoughts for instructions for the next day. That's in Job. Okay? So for lo, he that formeth the mountains and createth the wind and declareth unto man what is his thought. that maketh the morning darkness and treadeth upon the high places of the earth. Yahweh, the power of hosts. Who are the hosts? The right and left hand Alahayim in those chariots, the so-called UFOs. They're all hovering all over America. They're all over the earth. And they're shooting laser beams, mental laser beams, into the minds of the kings of the earth, and they're dictating how they operate. So this weird move, this weird move that the so-called white man is doing with these Koreans and with everybody else, where everyone's beginning to hate America, this is all the work of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai for prophecy. Esau thinks he's doing it because right here, Esau's not, he's not exempt from this. His brain is being controlled just like the rest of everybody else is. There is no free will, you guys. This is the Most High's movie.
South Korea has issued an emergency response after over 300 South Koreans were detained here in the United States at a Hyundai LG battery plant in Georgia. The comments from international citizens underneath this make our country look, well, I guess the way our country is now under Trump. These people weren't even immigrants. They were temporarily dispatched to build a factory in the United States, a red state at that, in response to Trump's whining and complaints to Korea. And while they were busy building the factory requested by Trump, he then sent ICE to round them up and arrest them. What a joke and a farce. Bottom line, if you are not a U.S. citizen, don't go to America right now. Too much to risk. Another user going on to say, these South Korean workers followed all visa requirements and were sent as consultants to help build the $12 billion Georgia Hyundai plant, training Americans so the jobs could be sustained. Nothing was wrong, which is why South Korea is outraged, rating them risked the plant closing, massive job losses, and chaos for the local economy. Another user going on to say, this is how an ally who promised over $500 billion in investment in military cooperation is treated. There is no rhyme or reason for anything the Trump administration has been doing beyond blatant racism and pure ignorance. This is clearly evidenced when you watch any of the videos or ICE footage that they have, footage that is of ICE on TikTok or other social media platforms, because there's plenty of white illegal immigrants here too, but I haven't seen a video, not one, or one name of one of them being rounded up and sent to Alligator Alcatraz. For some reason, all these South African immigrants, well, we should welcome them with open arms, right? As long as they're white. Now, while most Trump supporters have never left their state, let alone their country, those of us who know people on the global stage in other countries or places, we know for certain that this is the common attitude globally right now. People don't want to come here.
Did you hear that? This is the common attitude globally. Why? Because there's a strategy in this. This is all leading up to prophecy. Let's look. Let's go. I'm just going to put, let me see, mustereth the battle. Let me mustereth the host. Yeah. So those of us who are familiar, those of us who aren't, listen. Isaiah 13:4, the noise of a multitude in the mountains. There goes that word mountains again, just like you saw in Amos. What is that talking about? The rulerships, the governments. What's the noise? It's the sound of their doctrines, the way that they talk and think, the way that they think that they're thinking. This is all being sent to them by the one who declares unto man what is his thought. For what? The day of Yahweh Shabbat. The noise of a mountain, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. He's getting everybody to get ready. Everything's going to lead up to World War III. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Okay? How ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. This is what it's all about, Yahweh Shabbat. Yahweh Shai is going to be sent from Yahweh on a chariot with a bunch of other hosts and chariots to come destroy Esau, Edom, and his armies, and the confederacy of nations, right, on the day of Yahweh Shabbat, and then he's going to beam up his elect. And then we're going to come and pull them out of there. We're going to pull the remaining elect of Esau, Edom, the wicked, that are in their $1 trillion underground bunkers, and we're going to put them into slavery. This is what this is all leading up to. And Yahweh Shai is going to sit on the throne of David and rule the earth and the universe. Howl ye, for the day of Yahweh, this is Yahweh Shabbat, is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. This is what this is all leading up to. This Korean situation. It's so bigger than America and bigger than Korea. But it's another brick in the wall. It's another spark in the flame. It's another sting, or whatever you want to call it. It's another issue that the so-called white man, right, is doing on the earth, where everybody's talking about the movements of this motherfucker.
And they don't want to invest here. Have foreign made
And they don't want to, because America is going to be destroyed. Babylon cannot be healed.
car you're driving while you're bitching about foreign companies investing in this country. Well, once they leave, you're out of a job. Those car parts you have to pay for are going to go way up. This administration is a failure. This administration is a joke. This administration is the result of years of anti-intellectualism, rampant ignorance coming to a head. If this is the new America, we deserve everything we have coming.
And years of anti-intellectualism. There's another precept. Years of anti-intellectualism. What does it say? I will take the wise men out of Teman. Or is there no wise men? And wise men goes into your Chaldeans. It goes into your left-handed supernatural witchcraft type dudes who get their information, they get their strategies or their intelligence from the left-hand Elohim, and that's how they're able to govern. Is there no wise men left in Teman? And Teman is the see if I'm spelling this right. Teman. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? I wasn't looking for this one, but this is another good one. Actually, this one's better. But Teman goes into your the tribe of Germany, your Germans. So you see what's happening here. The wise men are not hearing the left hand Elohim's directions like they used to. They're making foolish decisions, but why? Because the Most High is leading everybody. It's no longer about America. See, and the so-called Edomites that are in rulership, we have to leave America because we want to go digital. They think they're going to be able to pull that off, and that's all going to lead them to Yahweh Shaphat, where Yahweh Shai is going to vaporize all of them. See how this works?
President,
there is a critical detail that is being left out of every American news outlet that's reporting on this. And that's the fact that the part of the plant that got raided the other day is the part of the plant that makes batteries for electric vehicles, which isn't even operational yet, not till early 2026. And that might not seem like an...
So you see the financial devastation that this is going to cause, but why would they do this? Because there is no more America. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh? If you've noticed, let's pull one more. I'm gonna try to show you something. It's time for Yahweh Shai to rule, and so the current rulership has to be brought down as a new rulership is about to set up, right? So we know Esau is the end of the world, right? Esau is the end of the world, right? And this is a transfer of power or a transfer of kingdoms. Esau is the end. This is 2 Ezra 6:9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. And Jacob has a star that rises out of it, and that star is Yahweh Shai. So it should better say this: for Esau is the end of the world, and Yahweh Shai is the beginning of it that follows. Because he really is the reasons why we're going to rule. It's because of him. He's going to sit on the throne of Jacob. Now, once you understand this, there's a process, though. How does this work? Think about it. We don't know how to rise up and bring down kingdoms, but Yahweh does. And you can get a glimpse of how he works in the prophecies. Let's try to let's go to Daniel real quick. Look at Daniel. Interprets the writing of the hand. Look at this. This is what the Spirit showed me today. The hand on the wall, the hand wrote on the wall. Okay, so if you go here, and you just read this, right? Okay, so in the same hour, Daniel 5:5. In the same hour came forth fingers. Let's do this. Belteshazzar. This is Daniel chapter 5. Look at this, you guys. Belteshazzar. He is the son of King Nebuchadnezzar, so he's a ruler that has now taken the throne from his father because his father died, and he's surrounded by other rulers and real magicians, real powerful left-handed satanic Chaldean men who operate in supernatural power, and the service they provide the king is strategies and ideas that come from the left hand that keep him in power. Okay, you got to, and it's real. You got to understand this. So Belteshazzar, he's the king, and he made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belteshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem, that the king and the princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of power, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the baluster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loose. So it had such a spiritual effect on his body that his physical skeletal frame somehow went out of joint or something, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. Today, these are your fucking Amalekite bankers. These are the people in Hollywood. These are the people in the government that know how to come into a room, draw a fucking pentagram on the ground, sprinkle some salt or some elements, do a human sacrifice, and get an answer from the left-hand side. This shit's real, you guys. But we don't know about it. So the king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. These are not just random palm readers. These are heavyweight dudes. And the king spake and said to the wise men, shall I not in that day destroy the wise men out of Edom? That's what he's talking. That's what the prophecy is talking about. These are the wise men of Babylon. Whosoever shall read this writing, he needs an interpretation, and show me the interpretation thereof. What does it say in Proverbs? Who is as the wise man who knows the interpretation of a thing? There's always one interpretation of a thing. There's not multiple different confusing ones. Shall be clothed in scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Now, this is key. You need to understand the timing of this. This kingdom is literally about to go down, and another kingdom is about to rule. Okay, and so look what happens. Then came all the king's wise men, all the witches, all the fucking enchanters, all the dudes that got demons in them. They got left-handed powers in them, right? Then came all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing. Why? Because Yahweh was telling them on the left-hand side, don't say shit. Their time is up. So the demonic spirits, the left-handed powers that have been guiding these men this whole time, they are going to be loyal to who? They're going to always listen to Yahweh, bro. Because another rulership is about to rise up. You got to see what's happening here in chapter 5. Then came all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing. The spirits that were in them could read it, but they weren't going to give it to them. They weren't going to tell the information to the men, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belteshazzar greatly troubled. Now let's jump all the way down. A girl in the audience says, "Hey, Daniel can do it. He's got the spirits of God in him." Okay. All right. So Daniel shows up. All right. Hold on. Okay. Verse 14. He's speaking to Daniel. I have heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read the writings and make known unto me the interpretation thereof, but they could not show the interpretation of a thing. Why? Because their source of power had been cut off. If you read further down, Daniel interprets the interpretation, and literally, "O thou son," Daniel is speaking judgment on him because he's like, you wouldn't listen. Your father went through this. So right here, verse 25, and this is the writing that was written. Many, many tickle your farson. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many, the power has numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tickle, thou art weighed in the balance and art found wanting. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Then commanded Belteshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom, In that night was Belteshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. He was He was 62 years old. This guy that took over from the Medes and the Persians. So the other reason why the wise men could not interpret the meaning was because their time was up, you guys, and another wicked kingdom was going to start ruling. And the same spirits that were speaking to the previous rulership are now going to transfer to this rulership and then speak to them and give them the ability to rule until their time is up. That is what's happening here.
More detail to many people.
That's really what's happening here. What you see happening with the Edomites goes back to freaking, I will take, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it. Yahweh Shai is getting ready to rule the earth, you guys. And this is what's happening. Shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom? This is what's happening. Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are sending out the order to the left-hand line. That means Satan, Asmodeus, all the men, all the powers on the left-hand side. Stop telling Esau certain specific things. Start getting him to make dumb decisions. And that's what you see.
But it leaves us.
South Korea is.
There is a critical detail.
That's what all this is, man. They think they're destroying America. No, these are stupid decisions. Their wisdom is going.
Irony is truly a beautiful, beautiful.
Their wisdom is going from them, you guys. Their kingdom is over, bro. They're not getting instructions from the left-hand side the way they did back in the 50s, back in the 40s, back in the 30s, back in the 70s. It's over, you guys.
Beautiful fucking thing. How fucking funny is it that Charlie Kirk makes this video in South Korea where he's walking around and he goes to that park where everybody's sitting around and reading and hanging out and goes, oh, can't do that in America.
So I want to cut this off for sake of time, but I pray that this lesson was edifying. You can see that when you identify things according to the scriptures, what prophecy says, it makes sense. This is why Esau is doing what he's doing. His thoughts are controlled by the Most High. Prophecy says that the Yahweh Shaphat is coming, that the rulership of Esau is being brought down because Yahweh Shai is going to rule. That is what's going to happen. Okay? So I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash, and double honor to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone of whom I learned from, and a shalom to the hopefully elect, 144,000 chosen, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharallah to the marriage supper of the Lamb, who is Yahweh Shai. This is your brother Radah. Shalom.